All right, what's up? I'm Kira Kosarin, and I am a recording artist and actress.
I wanted to be your first and last, but baby, that first love never lasts. Are we so wrapped up in the memory? Are we both okay? We pretend to be. It was only perfect in the past, 'cause the first love never lasts. No.
So music came first for me as a human, and acting came first for me as a career, if that makes sense. I started writing music when I was really little, ended up booking a TV show when I was 14 that lasted until I was 20. And the whole time I was on the show, I was writing music and nobody really knew. So then when the show ended and I started putting out music, people were like, wait, you started singing? And I was like, I've been singing, you just didn't know. When I was really little, like the first song I ever wrote, I was probably 4 or 5 years old, and it was called Go With The Flow, and it was terrible. It was like, 4 notes on a piano. I think the first like real song that I ever wrote that I was really proud of when I was like 14 or 15, and like had my first real crush and started writing like cheesy little Taylor Swift love songs. I always write based on my real life. I'm a singer, but like, I think in my own mind, I almost consider myself a writer before a singer. I generally, when I'm writing songs, I come from a point of view of like, how can I best tell this narrative? Not like, how can I best show off my runs? And like, if that happens as a side effect, then dope. But like the priority is storytelling for me usually. And since I'm very much inspired by my own life, yeah, that tends to happen as a default. I've actually been in a situation a couple times where it was like so obviously about the person that I've actually like given them a heads up and been like, hey, just so you know, I took some creative liberties with this, but like, we're all good. Cause just, I'm the kind of person who doesn't like to have bad blood with anybody and just wants everybody to feel like happy and respected all the time. It's like very important to me, almost to a ridiculous level. So yeah.
The police will take it from here.
Wait! I love you! I mean, who are you?
I'm Thunder Girl.
So, I started the show when I was 14, and one of the things that really drew me to the character when I was that young was that we were just very similar. She was just kind of a very, like, energetic, bright, positive, like, type A, driven, happy-go-lucky kid, which is really what I was when I was that young. Obviously, over the years, I grew and changed a lot from that, and she sort of stayed the same. But I couldn't help but kind of infuse pieces of myself into her over the years, just because I grew up, naturally. But yeah, it was a whole, it was from age 14 to 20. So like, it was my whole adolescence really working on that show. I'm still acting, I'm still auditioning, and I've been developing a series for the past couple of years that, obviously things got put on pause with Corona, but I'm hoping to get up and running hopefully in 2021. So I'm still, still got my eye on the prize a little bit on that side, but the music's definitely my focus. In an ideal, goal for my whole life situation, I'm going for like a, Childish Gambino, Janelle Monáe kind of situation where like I'm just doing both and making it work,
You always said I'd break your heart. Ain't it funny how the roles reverse? I should've known it from the start. I was never gonna put me first. No use in holding you from afar. If I'll just be opening other scars. If missing me so, then there isn't much else I can do.
Staying creative has been, interestingly enough, the easiest part for me. I think part of that is just because the worse my mental state is, the better my songwriting is. Because, songwriting for me has always been therapy. I've never had a diary in my whole life. It's like when I have, an emotion in my head that's overwhelming and I can't figure out how to process it, I articulate it by turning it into a song. So I've spent a lot of quarantine sort of alone in my apartment with this is my piano right here. You can't see it, but my piano and my guitar is just sort of pouring my heart out. That's not to say, you know, quarantine hasn't been hard in other ways. Of course it's been tricky, but like, you know, in the grand scheme of things, I'm very privileged and lucky and safe and, you know, supported. So I've really had a pretty easy go of it compared to what it could be. So yeah, so my new EP Songbird, this is one of the merch pieces, also not planned, just happens to be sitting here. Yeah. Songbird is coming out July 15th. 4 of the singles on it have already been released. And it's been really cool. You know, the songs were done before Rona, but none of the visuals were done yet. We had all these music videos planned. We had all of these really like high, you know, big production, solid budget things planned out. And then, you know, Corona hit, and it sort of forced me into this mindset of a DIY situation. And at first I was kind of scared about that. And the more it went on, the more I realized it was sort of a gift for this project, because the whole idea behind Songbird, and I can go into the meaning behind the title and everything if you want, but the whole idea behind Songbird was that it's a very intimate, vulnerable project. It's like my diary. It really is just like journal entries from my life and very personal, you know, kind of cathartic music for me. And so having the opportunity to make these videos, that was just like, I hiked up to a mountain with my phone and my guitar and my laptop and filmed myself recording. And like, that was a music video for First Love Never Lasts. And we shot this Something to Look Forward to music video in my parents' living room on the piano that I grew up writing music on. And like things like that, I was kind of really grateful actually to have that opportunity. So it worked out. I think this project in terms of songs is going to stay what it is. It's going to stay the 5 tracks just because it sort of encompasses a year of my life. I am going to go back and do more visuals. I have a bunch of music video ideas and I want to shoot all of those sort of after everything that's going on right now is done. I mean, I'm working on like 11 new songs right now that I'm in the process of writing and producing. So I'm just continuing to move forward. So there definitely will be a lot more new music, but I think in terms of like Songbird, I sort of like that this is its own chapter. I'm a big fan of like project. I'm a big fan of like the Halsey style of sort of creating these worlds that get to live in their own, you know, even though like Tyler, the Creator, I have his vinyl right here on the wall, like world where each thing has its own vibe. So there were 3 weeks where I went to like 6 protests. I was just out and about. And at that point I wasn't writing at all because it just kind of felt stupid for lack of a better word. It just felt like in the grand scheme of things, like we're fighting for justice. I don't need to be writing about my love life right now. I think that probably later, after things have settled down, after the pandemic is over, like maybe, you know, I'll start to be kind of retroactively inspired by those things. But I think it's sort of like an in the moment prioritization thing, if that makes sense. I'm collaborating with a lot of really cool people right now who I'm excited to be able to work with. We're obviously working remotely and sending things back and forth, but yeah, just gonna keep promoting Songbird and shooting videos and hoping that it connects with people and just continue to make my music and share it. And, you know, obviously the next step would normally be tour. There was a whole tour situation planned that we had to cancel because of everything going on. But, you know, hopefully next year we'll be able to get on the road and put on a great live show for people and just keep moving. I am a full-time social media-er these days, which I actually quite enjoy. You know, one of the perks of having young fans and being a young person who's very integrated in social media is it gives me a direct access to this kind of network and team that's really nice. And so I enjoy it. I'm about to hit 20 million followers on TikTok, which is exciting. And TikTok's been a really interesting platform in the way that it supports music and vice versa, and is also just fun and has been a nice distraction during quarantine. So yeah, I'm super up on the socials. For anybody watching, if you want to come find me on my strange little corners of the internet, it's just Kira Kosarin, my name. We have fun. We have a good time. Yeah, I mean, I spend several hours a day fully just social media engaging with people. I think when the project is fully out and I can go back into sort of like hermit mode and just hide in my studio and make music for a year, I'll probably step back a little bit from that. But, you know, right now this is the fun part. I worked on a project for a year and now I get to share it with people. So I spend a lot of time. Also, you know, this is a whole other conversation, but people talk a lot about the transition, right? From like Nickelodeon or Disney to being an artist, because I'm not the first one who's done it. There's been the Mileys and the Demis and the Arianas and the Selenas. Like, this has been done before. And, you know, a lot of that transition is sort of, for me, been kind of engaging with fans from that part of my life and saying, hey, thank you so much for supporting me. I'm so glad you liked that. Want to take a chance on me and see if you'll like this art that I'm really proud of, that is really important to me, because I think you'll really like it. And so I do spend a lot of time sort of being, you know, talking about the music and talking about the show and the transition, and just trying to make sure that I bring everybody with me and don't leave anybody in the dust. My personality is just that of, I would never want to bite the hand that fed me. And, you know, realistically, a lot of what I have today is due to that show. No, it wasn't a perfect experience. No, I didn't always think I was being treated the way I wanted, whatever. Like, you know, things happen. It's business. And when you're working full time as a kid, like, things are going to happen. But at the end of the day, I had a dream. They made it come true. And now I'm on to this new dream. And so I figure, why pretend it didn't happen? It was a really cool thing that I did. It was a cool part of my life. And so, yeah, I don't know. I guess for people trying to make the transition, I would just say, like, be true to yourself and make mistakes along the way. You know, I put out an album last year called Off Brand, that was like a little provocative, a little sexy, a little adult. Like, we had some kind of explicit lyrics and some sexy dance moves. And like, I did a little bit of the like, ha, I'm an adult now, you know, whatever. But then I kind of was like, I don't need to prove anything to anyone. Like, I'm a 22-year-old woman making music, and like, people will get on board with that eventually or they won't. And that's kind of not my responsibility to prove anything to anyone. I know who I am, and I'm honest about it and authentic. I try to be, and hopefully people will see that. I don't know. All my social media is Kira Kosarin, Kirakosarin. All of my music is on Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, Pandora, SoundCloud, anywhere you can possibly imagine. All of my social medias have like a link in my bio that takes you to anything you could possibly need. YouTube too. Basically just look for my name and you'll probably find me. I'm not too hard to find, and everybody is kind of always welcome in my little social media world. So come through. We're a positive, happy little family for the most part. Hey, my name is Kira Kosarin, and you've just been buzzed.